old tobacco barn at Old Friends Thoroughbred Retirement Facility is getting a facelift.
WKYT's Mariah Conjito has a look at what's being turned into there and what is also going to be inside.
They broke ground 2 months ago on the project. Owner Michael Blowen says this is something they've been wanting to do for a while now for the guests to enjoy.
The new state-of-the-art visitor center will be named in honor of Josephine Abercrombie. Abercrombie was a horsewoman and philanthropist. She's also the late owner of the Pin Oak Stud in Versailles. Old Friends owner Michael Blowen says he didn't want to use the money people donated to Old Friends to pay for the barn's renovation. Instead, he says Abercrombie's Pin Oak Stud Foundation agreed to match up to $750,000 in donations. Blowen says so far they've raised $150,000. Blowen says once it's done, the outside won't look much different because they're using the barn's original wood siding. The inside, however, will look different. It'll be a space where people can watch the horses at Old Friends in their racing days, look at horse racing memorabilia, and more.
I've always dreamed about having a place where people could come and watch these horses races on big TVs, and we could have seminars about handicapping, and we could invite special guests to come and talk about their horses, some of the famous trainers that have trained these horses and made their whole careers on the backs of these fabulous animals.
Blowen says they're rolling right along with construction, and they're hoping to be done by Derby Day. At Old Friends, Mariah Conjito, WKYT.
And you can make a donation to help with the project's cost. We have a link in this story on WKYT.com.